In this episode of our series, we'll explore when antibiotic medicine started, how bacteria began outsmarting antibiotics, antibiotic resistance, and finally, how the world is responding to this issue. Let's begin with one of medicine's greatest success stories. The discovery of antibiotics like penicillin was revolutionary. Before antibiotics, a simple cut could kill you if it got infected. Imagine living with that constant fear. Suddenly, bacterial infections that had been death sentences became curable with pills. But here's where things get interesting. Bacteria have developed an incredible survival trick. They can evolve to resist the very drugs designed to destroy them. How on earth does this happen? Like all living things, bacteria sometimes get random mutations in their DNA. Think of it as nature rolling the dice. Most mutations do nothing, but occasionally one hits the jackpot. Some lucky bacteria might develop the ability to break down antibiotics like they're digesting food. Others evolve tiny pumps that literally push the antibiotic out of their cells before it can do damage. This is how bacteria develop resistance against medicines. And once they have these traits, they pass them on to their offspring. How wonderful. When you take antibiotics, the non resistant bacteria die off quickly, but those resistant ones survive, thrive, and have the whole environment to themselves. With all their competition dead, resistant bacteria multiply like crazy. They can produce millions of copies of themselves in just hours. We're talking about new generations every 20 minutes. Plus, they can share genetic information with each other in the form of plasmids. This means resistance can spread through bacterial populations at lightning speed. One resistant bacterium can quickly become millions, all carrying the same resistance genes. For people infected with these superbugs, standard treatments become less helpful. Take MRSA, for example. This notorious superbug can be incredibly difficult to treat. If MRSA enters your bloodstream, it can be fatal. For decades, we've been winning the war against bacterial infections. Death rates from diseases like pneumonia have plummeted thanks to antibiotics. But now we're losing ground, and it's partly our own fault. Doctors sometimes prescribe antibiotics for minor illnesses or viral infections like colds and flu. Here's the problem: antibiotics can't kill viruses. It's like trying to use a hammer on a screw. Additionally, patients make things worse by not finishing prescriptions. They feel better after a few days and stop taking the pills, but this leaves the strongest bacteria alive. Every time we use antibiotics incorrectly, we're essentially training bacteria to become resistant. We're creating the perfect conditions for superbugs to evolve. Remember, antibiotics don't create resistance directly. They simply kill off the weak bacteria, leaving the playground clear for resistant ones to take over. That's why finishing your full course of antibiotics is crucial. It ensures all bacteria are destroyed, not just the weak ones. The problem extends beyond hospitals and clinics. On farms, antibiotics are sometimes given to healthy animals to make them grow faster and prevent illness. This creates a breeding ground for resistant bacteria. These superbugs can then jump to humans through meat production and consumption. Some countries have started restricting agricultural antibiotic use, recognizing the danger. But globally, we still use massive amounts of antibiotics in farming. Pharmaceutical companies are racing to develop new antibiotics that can defeat resistant strains. But here's the catch: creating new drugs is painfully slow and expensive. This is why prevention is vital. Using antibiotics only when truly necessary, completing full treatments, and limiting agricultural use can all slow resistance development. What we're witnessing is evolution in action. Natural selection at hyperspeed. Bacteria are adapting to survive in a world filled with antibiotics. Just as Darwin predicted, organisms would adapt to environmental changes. Next time, we'll explore how scientists organize and classify the incredible diversity of life on Earth.